Cuz, what's up? Brother Brooks, I'm feeling some kind of way this morning. Thank you, man, for always being there. Shout out to my cousin Willie Brooks. Cuz, I'll get started talking with you, man. Let your goals be your compass. Today's SPS motivation is let your goals be your compass. So with that, with this COVID-19, everyone's world for the most part has been turned upside down, inside out in some way or form. So with that, we've all been trying to adjust. Good morning, Mimi. You always here like clockwork. Your young brother Davis, Marcus, what's up? Again, the SPS Monday motivation for today is let your goals be your compass. Let your goals be your compass. We're speaking about this COVID-19 coming into our lives now and turning our lives upside down, inside out. And I know many of us have been trying to kind of, get our feet together and thinking about how we're going to be going forward post-COVID-19 and adding new things like the digital platforms, like new goals and things like that. But I want to also remind you that before COVID-19 came into our lives, we all had goals. We all had things we were working on, We all had things we were trying to do. What's up, Brother Marshall? Good to see you, and thanks for being part of the SPS Mental Health Moment. But what I'm saying is that we have to remind ourselves of the goals we had prior to coming on board. Brother Rollins, good morning. We have to remind ourselves of that. And we need to let our goals be our compass. See, sometimes we get lost in the wilderness about life and things that are going on. We've all been worried about the priorities of shelter, food, and taking care of our families. But we have to remind ourselves of the goals we had prior to COVID-19. Now, they may change slightly, but a lot of them are still rooted in who we are and what we've been trying to do. Now, I'll take a moment today, and I'm not going to be vain with what I'm going to share because it'll be talking about myself and my story, but I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be vulnerable for a moment just to give you an idea of what you can do, and what better person can I talk about than the one I'm an expert on, which is myself. Now, we need to set goals, and it's very important that we set high goals. But when we do that, there's a challenge, because just like you look at this image right here, the person can easily step off the cliff and horrible things can happen. But that is the fate of our world that we live in. When you try to do something more than what you're doing now, there's going to be a challenge. And also this approval thing. A lot of times we only set goals based on the approval of others, whether it's a significant other, whether it's a family member, whether it's a community, whether it's social media. But we have this idea that if no one wants to support my goals, then if I don't get approval for it, then I'm not going to do it. If someone gives me a thumbs down, they're going to say no. I'm almost willing to bet that if your goal doesn't raise an eyebrow, if someone doesn't say, wow, man, that's going to be a big challenge, you may not be looking at the right goal. Shout out to Senator Sylvia Santana. I appreciate all that you're doing, and we want to keep supporting you as you give us great leadership here in the Michigan capital as well as Metro Detroit area. So keep that in mind. I'm sure that when she talked about running for elected office, referring to Senator Santana, along with her husband, who's probably supporting her, many people were saying, why are you doing that? But you don't need to look at other people's approval for your goals. When I set the goal for SPS, Sports Psychology Solutions, a long time ago, I set a goal for SPS to become the ESPN of sports psychology. That's right, the ESPN. Why the ESPN? Because ESPN provides you daily content in sports, daily significant content in sports. And my goal is for SPS, which is a nonprofit organization, and the work that I do with my clients to help them with their mental toughness and their mental health as well. And I know Senator Santana works diligently on helping spread the word about mental health during this May Mental Health Month. But I realized that was a goal that I set for myself. But when you set these goals, sometimes people have an issue. Another goal I set for myself is to be enshrined in the Naismith Hall of Fame. Lindsay, what? What do you mean the Hall of Fame? You didn't play basketball in the NBA or something like that. Well, let me give you the criteria. The criteria for that, what's up, Mo Benson, for the Naismith Hall of Fame is candidates must meet the following requirements in order to be eligible for enshrinement in the Naismith Hall of Fame. You can be a player, coach, referee, or a contributor. And what is a contributor? A person is eligible for enshrinement as a contributor at any time for significant contributions to the game of basketball. What constitutes a significant contribution shall be determined by the Basketball Hall of Fame and its selection process committee and the contributor direct elect committee. Meaning, if I'm doing, good morning, Angie. Good morning. Thanks for bringing that sunshine on a winter look-like day. By me setting this goal, which is something I shared with my good friend Vernon Richards a while ago, and I even carry in my wallet that written down because it's important, I realized that it's not about everybody else. There are a few people that really matter for me reaching that goal. That's the people on the enshrinement committee. So I can't worry about what people may say. Oh, Lindsay, how are you going to get into the Hall of Fame? It doesn't matter. I don't need your approval. And you need to keep that in mind when you set goals for yourself, right? Now, the other thing about setting goals, I talk about this all the time with the young athletes that I work with and people in life. There's this thing about, man, don't tell nobody what you're trying to do. You got to move in silence. Now, there is some food for thought that I can agree with that. You know, you don't want anyone to sabotage you, but there's also another frame of thinking that I look at as well. You know, that's that fear of failure. A lot of times you don't want to talk about it because you're scared if I put it out there and I don't do it, people are going to call me a failure. Well, I look at it like this. If you were taking a long road trip to somewhere you've never been before, and you decide that just with your map alone, you're going to take the trip, and as you stop on the highway for gas or things like that, if you don't ask somebody if you're going the right way, there may be a problem. You may have the GPS all together. You may have the map. But maybe there's a detour you should know about. Maybe there's something that happened overnight that a local person can tell you about. See, that's why it's important that you are confident enough to be able to articulate your goal. And if anything, you're articulating your goal to the universe. You're articulating your goal to the universe. Now, you want to hope that along the way you get some honest people. Some honest people who will be like, you know, this is the way you want to go. Good morning, Sherry. This is what you want to do. That's really important. It's honest people who will help you along the way. But then you got to worry about those Pinocchio people, those liars, those deceitful people. To be honest, I'm not even mad at those people. I'm not even mad at people who misrepresent who they are and they say they want to help you when they really don't, because it allows you to, one, be more committed to your goal. Two, it allows you to be more reliant on yourself. And three, it lets you know that's somebody I'm not trying to mess with. Let me tell you something. The Oscars and all these award shows, it's a lot of people who are there just to fill seats. There are a lot of people there just to fill seats. So if somebody's lying and not helping you with your goal, there'll be a place for them. They could be that person that can fill that seat way in the back. They'll have a role, so don't worry about them. If you follow your bliss, doors will open that have never opened for you before. If you follow your bliss, meaning if you just say, I want to follow what my heart is telling me, and if you do that with commitment, you know, with compassion, or passion, I should say, doors will open for you. When I was a young guy, you know, back in high school, I was politicking hard. Everybody would say, Lindsay, you're going to be the next president of the United States. And again, showing these images is not to just promote myself, but it's to be vulnerable and tell you from whence I came. That was me in high school with President Clinton. And then that's me moving forward not too many years ago with former President Obama. It was great to be able to be in those circles. I was politicking at a very high level. And at one point, I did think about being president of the United States. But I'll be honest, what got me into a different goal is like being involved with politics so long, I realized that I could do more at ground zero. I could do more by following my passion in sports to be able to reach people. Sports has a very wide platform, and it's all about enjoyment. I enjoyed it. I got to the point where I didn't like politics anymore. I don't like the need that you had to have money sometimes just to get attention. Now, I also agree that if you're organized, that can work too. But I've used that skill set now with SPS to be part of lobbying for issues for mental health and things like that. Shout out to Priest, representing Henry Ford all the way around, Detroit versus everybody. And then also, when you share your goal, you meet people along the way. People can help guide you and help you. Shout out to my guy, Jack Ebling. We were in the studio last night doing another episode of Press Pass that'll be posted later on today. Actually, it was a Mother's Day edition, so I'm looking forward to doing some special things with that. But beautiful people like Jack Ebling, who's an award-winning journalist, one of the most respected men in the media in the state of Michigan, has taken me under his wing. That's because I wasn't afraid to talk about what my goals were. Because see, if you don't, how can people help you? I've been able to interview Hall of Fame coaches and build relationships with the likes of the Tom Izzo's in the world. Now, mind you, I want to get in the Hall of Fame, and I know Hall of Fame coaches. My work is being respected by Hall of Fame coaches. Shout out to Coach Izzo in Michigan State. But also, Hall of Fame players. That's the glove. Ironically, we saw him last night in The Last Dance. MJ was laughing about GP, but GP is a good guy. And on the times I've been in contact with him, he's always been great. But also, shout out to my guy, Derek Coleman. Shout out to DC, one of the first professional athletes I met. I remember meeting Derek Coleman right before he got drafted in 1990, walking across the street, and shout out to my guy Lorenzo Neely, you know, fellow Northern High School player. And I remember there was another quiet guy sitting in the corner by the name of Steve Smith. So early on, I think it's very ironic, even in this picture, if you look in the background, that's Henry Ford High School. That's my neighborhood high school that I attended. Shout out to Priest and Henry Ford. That's where I went to school at. Those are my roots. So it was able to go full circle. That's the gym I played in. I played basketball in. And even then, when I didn't play my senior year because I got more involved in politics and doing other things that were media related, it's easy to be able to look at how that went full circle and to be able to be back in my gym. That was Derek last summer when he was having his summer tournaments, and Gary came in to wish him happy birthday. The Big Three was going on. But look how that's full circle. And Gary and I had a great conversation. Matter of fact, I'll post that soon. And hopefully, Derek and I can get together and share some things about what's going on in the world right now. So what I'm getting at, folks, on this Monday Motivation is let your goals be your compass. Be able to tell yourself what you want to achieve, and don't be afraid to set big goals. Don't be afraid to set goals that are bigger than your world around you, because if you do that, you'll be able to follow your bliss. You'll be able to follow your heart, and there will be angels that will come along the way to help you get there, and you'll find yourself being in a great position. So I don't want to keep you guys too long on this Monday Motivation. It's a day that looks kind of cold and dreary, but that's okay. Just stay warm inside. COVID-19 has done something to all of our lives and all of our worlds, and for people particularly in the African American community, we have been experiencing a lot of trauma. We've experienced trauma for hundreds of years, but we continue to see it now. All I want to say to you is keep your mental health in order. Keep your house in order. And with that, we will continue to stand strong and be support for each other and be the beautiful people that we know God meant us to be. So with that, I thank you all for supporting SPS. Thank you for checking in on the mental health moments that SPS will be sharing throughout the remainder of the COVID experience. And I just appreciate you all, and I just hope that you look in the mirror, and like I tell my daughter, say your name, say that you're beautiful, say that you're smart, and love yourself. So with that, thank you guys. I want you to have a great day, and we see you soon.
That's right, folks. Lindsey Huddleston with SPS back in the building on Southwest Side Detroit.
How do you hit a free throw? How do you finish strong? That's important. The other part of the spectrum is
always packed, always loud, always crazy. So it's a tough place to play in. You gotta go in there with a mind.
So I'll be in there tomorrow. That's really my motivation. Is I want to be like Gabe Brown. Gabe Brown shoots like